ready for hot takes and insight from local industry experts in real estate, business, and lifestyle. He used to play ball with the Padres. He played hockey for the Lobos. Now they're crushing it in the real estate game. Together, they'll showcase the best of the Duke City. This is All About You, ABQ.
That's right, it is all about you, ABQ. Now, the goal of the show is to highlight the best of our city's industry experts in real estate, culture, and lifestyle so that you walk away with some value and feeling inspired. Now, the way we like to do that is to answer the questions you may have or interview the guests that you want to see. So we invite you to join our social media up here or join our email list to get some timely tips about our community and real estate market. Hey, I'm Skip Adams, owner of Sold by Skip Real Estate Brokerage in Albuquerque.
Grant Harvey, home loan expert.
You probably remember Grant as the head coach of the University of New Mexico men's Lobo hockey team. Now he's absolutely crushing it in the mortgage game.
Thank you for that, Skip. You may have seen Skip on HGTV's House Hunters, and he's part of the top 2% producing real estate agents in the city.
Here's why you're going to want to stay tuned. We're joined in studio by Kyle Avery. He's a small business owner, born and raised here in Albuquerque. He went to Sandia High School. We won't judge him for it. But he's going to share his story about what it's like running a business here, growing up here, and reasons to stay in Albuquerque.
And we love celebrating small business owners and entrepreneurs and movement through the city. So, yeah.
Well, let's celebrate it. Tell you what, who's not celebrating is the city of Edmonton. Dude, I'm not pouring salt in the wounds. We were all with you on that journey through the Stanley Cup final.
You know what? How sweet was it? Like, for being a jock, and not a jock because I'm a nerd, but like my friends were so nice about it. They're like, dude, I know, I'm so sorry about what happened, because they know how I felt about it. You know, I grew up in the Gretzky era. I really started playing hockey because of the Edmonton Oilers, and I was, I was 2 years old when I first learned to skate, and I watched all the Oilers raise the cup, and it was a big deal, you know. And I think that I make fun of people's fandom.
Well, especially the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, dude, what's your lineage? Well, I also like Stars, and I saw one day at the, But like for me, it is our culture. So the city of Edmonton is like really predicated on that. It is culture.
It's oil country, isn't it?
It is. I mean, it is. Edmonton, that's me skating like really young with my dad. So my dad is he doesn't only have this green card. It expired like 800 years ago. But that's why I started playing hockey. So it's big, and I hate to compare fandom. But this was enriching my family. Like, this was everything, So there's my dad, handsome man. Grew up in Red Deer, Alberta, pretty close to Edmonton. So we came back 2003 in series, right? And all right, let's touch on that. If you guys don't know anything and came out of a cave, that's Connor McDavid's dad. Connor McDavid is the second coming of Jesus and Gretzky. So I actually have a McJesus tank top that you saw earlier. And him and I were hanging out, and every time McDavid did anything, he turned around and gave me 5, and that's huge for me because that's like Canada is really breathing this series, and there's billboards that go, "Bring the cup back to Canada."
Yeah, thank you, boys. Like, do it.
Yeah. So I mean, we did good, 3-3. We lost 2-1 to Florida. My problem is, Las Vegas got it last year. Florida has it now. It's like, can you get
2 hockey meccas? Phoenix is going to have it next year.
Yeah, let's just put it in fucking Tijuana. So it's good. It's just
No, I understand what you're saying. In fact, we went to anytime you get to watch a sporting event with your dad or anything like that. So we went to the Isotopes game last night. We had some box seats. So it's one of those things, man. Anytime
you rich?
Look, not bragging. But we know people. Anytime you get to go see a game with your old man is always fun, and it means a lot more as we get further along down the road. So I understand.
Well, you and I have a common bond. Like, let's be honest. I would compare it. The Cubs won. That's huge. Like, I'm not so obtuse to what things mean to people. The Cubs winning
big time
was huge.
Yeah,
like, it was like a lot of people have this patronage to teams, and the Cubs is substantiated, right? And your dad played for the Cubs. Like, that's huge, right? And that would be the only time I would give something else kudos to say that's the same thing that probably you and him felt, and several others. But it's hard. I mean, what's funny is a lot of people call me and they're like, dude, I'm so sorry, because it felt like someone died. It was hard, but like. It would be the same thing as the Cubs, and I will give it that much respect.
Yeah, besides that, man, what have you been up to? We had a little bit of we did a housewarming party at our new spot this weekend, which was nice to see because we had a bunch of family and friends over. Tess was in town, Matt Biner was in town, both guests of the show multiple times. And it's just good to see. So you get into the new house and you can actually see like the traffic pattern flow. Where are people congregating? Where do I need more furniture?
The kitchen.
Yeah.
Everyone just tries to fit themselves in the microwave.
So it was good, man. It was a good time. And the funny thing is as we get older, parties end at like 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm spent, man. I already had 2 seltzers at 5.
Well, yeah, what is this, a frat party? I'm going to bed.
Yeah, so I will speak to this, a guy with no kids and stuff. So like I've seen Skip transition into having kids, and it can be kind of like different for me. And not that I expect him to just shoot Roman candles out of his mouth at midnight, but I participate, and it is a little. It's different. People move on, but I'm super happy for him, and now I'm gonna have to find some new 22-year-olds to wreck carpet
to shoot Roman candles.
Yeah, to wreck shopping carts in a parking lot. Smith.
A couple things going on in Albuquerque. The funny thing is breweries, right? Breweries are always been a thing that just drive me absolutely crazy. I mean, beer's okay, whatever. I'll have a beer with dinner.
They turn you on?
But they have been popping up everywhere, up almost 600% the number of breweries from 2003 to 2023.
Okay.
And it got me thinking, like, I remember like the first brewery I went to in Albuquerque was with you, and we went there, and I remember it's just one guy with a handlebar mustache just like pouring samples. So you can just wait in this long ass line to get a beer, and then you're like, God, okay, that took forever.
What was it?
I don't know, it was just like in the warehouse district or whatever, and I'm like, God, I could really go for a sandwich.
I know.
And then I go, well, we don't serve food, we only have one guy working here.
And shut up.
And get back in line, because you're going to finish that by the time you get...
We'll kill you. We'll get a restraining order.
But that being said, let's see, what was I going to read here? According to Breweries Association, the number of breweries in the United States is up 600%, but how can you determine the best craft beers in an increasingly crowded market? If you're curious about the most popular...
They both taste like poison.
Yeah, don't drink them. They compiled a list of the highest rated beers in New Mexico using these ratings below. And the top 3... Yeah, I didn't know any of them.
What was one?
Hold on.
We're getting them.
The top 3, they all came from La Cumbre Brewing.
All right, can we talk about IPAs? Is everyone pretending they don't taste like a tree root? Oh, I love IPAs. Oh, okay. Did you get hit by a bus when you were 8? You lost all your senses? IPAs are what? Just eat a radish, that would probably taste better. There's no way. Listen, let's bring more people on the show that want to lie to me and go, oh, I love IPA so much. Okay, hi, liar.
Yeah. So I can do one IPA. It's usually with a dinner, prior to dinner. But here's the thing. So La Cumbre brought home the top 3. Father Nelson, I've never had an IPA.
No one
Elevated
had.
IPA. Elevated slaps, dude. Elevated slaps.
I've
I've had that
people
one.
say that.
Project Dank, never had it.
A lot of alcohol.
But they're all 3 took the IPAs for the win. But either way, I still stand on my...
Have you ever heard of Project Dank?
I've never heard of anything.
When people create lists, here's my problem with that. Who are you? Yeah. Who gave you $500?
And how do you have time to compile a list?
But it doesn't matter if we don't know who you are. And I believe in merit. So if guys oh, I got fired from Schlotsky's, but I made a list.
Schlotsky's though.
Actually, let's bring Greg Schlotsky out.
I got touched in a Schlotsky's bathroom. Call me.
If you were a loved one been touched in Schlotsky's bathroom.
If your Schlotsky's been touched in a bathroom.
$65 million death injury.
Sounds like you're on a little bit of a rant right now. Let's just continue it into the next segment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Grant's rant.
Well, listen, I've been doing quite a bit of traveling, and some of my mystery, or not mysteries, hotels, and here's my assessment with it. You ever wanted to park your car at the hotel, and they go, oh, you want to park your car too? That's $50 a night. $50 a night, are you guarding it with a personal person? Do you have a Rolls Royce? I have to go park my car 3 neighborhoods out there to avoid it. No, listen, I'm staying here. Can I not park here? You can't park here. You're only staying here. The convention center people that are occupying your hotel get to park there for free, but it's $50. I don't see that's fair. What about housekeeping? Housekeeping has skipped knocking. They're full on vacuums going on, and they discover you in bed. I'm housekeeping. I'm yeah, dude, I'm sleeping. Get out of here. It's 7:30. Can I stay here a little bit longer? And what about check-in time? Check-in time's like, oh, it's 4 p.m. Oh, let's see if your room's ready. I want to stay here. It's 4. Is this being egregious? Can I not stay in my room in the afternoon? Let me see if it's ready. And then you want me out of here at 8? So what do you expect me to do? Just stay in here for 6 hours? Do I have to ask your permission to leave? Like that's outrageous. Let me get to why movies cost $29. Uncle Buck's $29. It was made in 1987. That's unreasonable. You know, your movie selection sucks. And why does every hotel TV have ridiculousness? Every time I turn the channel, Hollywood Chanel is just laughing. I'm like, every single city just has MTV. You only have 9 channels, and MTV is just one. And then the other thing is, how come every time there's like the Alaskan Gold show? Like wherever I stay is the Discovery Channel. I would like to discover new channels. The resort fee. Let's talk about that. I stay at the hotel, and then there's the resort fee. Did I miss a portion of the hotel? Was there roller coasters going on somewhere else? Was there SeaWorld? Was there swimming? Was there a water park? The resort fee. I'm here. You're the resort. Where? Who am I paying? Where's the money going? Let's talk about hotel elevators. They're so uncomfortable. And then there's like 8 people in there. And for me, I go, you guys can pass on and go another floor. There's like Buddy who has 3 kids and like 5 luggages, and he's like, we can fit in here. I'm like, we can't fit in here. We already told people no 3 floors ago. Get out of here. And then when you get out of an elevator, I don't want to play football. Let us get out first. I don't need to break 3 tackles to get out of to my room. Can we get out so you can get in? That's how elevators work. Also, what about the people of descendants of like Bob Marley that are smoking so much weed in hotels that hotel security hasn't stopped it, and now I'm getting high and it's 2 a.m. I didn't want this. I don't want to be high. Put your joints away, or like just, you know, where is everyone? Where is hotel security? Let's talk about the hotel room pressure on the door. It's like 75 like PSI. It slams so like fast it can kill kids. Like, and if you know that, let the door slam a little bit gently. You don't have to slam everything. One more. Every time you check in a hotel, I go, Grant Harvey, here confirmation. They always don't know you. No one knows that you actually like got a reservation. And they go, oh yeah, we had to contact FBI. Okay, we found your room. Like, what can I provide you next time so that you'll know that I belong here and had a reservation? One more thing. How come the hotel address has nothing to do with how you get there? Oh, you went to 115 Chesmeyer? Yeah, actually, the entrance is here. I was like, I know, I'm on the back of a warehouse. Like, just put the address where I can get to you so the Uber knows that I don't drive up to a dumpster. That's my Grand Trans hotels.
Holy hell.
Well,
that was ranty.
What do you think?
I think it's good, man. I like that you're bringing notes now.
I forgot a few. Actually,
wait, hold on.
So many. Read them out.
Back page. Does anyone no, here, go ahead. I don't know where you're going with that.
No, we can keep going.
No, we're ranting.
Does anyone find themselves at like room 1299? I always have to go. No matter where I stay, they go, oh, you're back there where there's no lights on. I walk for 3 more miles. Is everyone staying at room 1299? Can I stay at 1201? No one has ever stayed at 1201. Have you?
Never.
These march.
Yeah,
they go, well, this is where people used to get killed.
Take an Uber
This is
there.
your dungeon. And you ever have people that you know are pounding that close the door side in an elevator? You know, they see you.
That's
and
the move.
And I'm like,
Playing
I don't want to
Tetris.
stay with you anyways.
All right, let's
think?
get that bullhorn one more time for Grant's rants.
No, one more. Not done. What about the sign that goes, hey, in order to protect our environment, we will request you to order housekeeping every day and just hang the towels up on your door. Okay, let's talk about the Bellagio. You have a freaking SeaWorld, the front of your hotel. You're really trying to conserve water? You can't wash any more towels? Why don't you cool down Lake Superior at the front of your hotel? Yeah? Oh, we don't want to use any more water. Yeah, you start with that. Start with your freaking fountain show. You're in a desert. Yeah, that was a hit.
A 3-horn salute to you, my friend. Here's why you're going to want to stay tuned. We're joined in studio by Kyle Avery of Player One Productions. And Kyle is going to talk about his small business and his journey in Albuquerque. And this will be a good one, man. He's a good dude.
How do you like his hat? sound in.
Listen to me. You guys want one of these?
Subscribe. Dude, Mark, I cannot believe you were that quick.
Mark is always on point.
Usually,
Either way.
we want to kill you.
We're joined next by Kyle Avery. Stay
Being
tuned.
yourself.
This is All About You, ABQ. Welcome back to UABQ. I'm Skip Adams, owner of Sold by Skip Real Estate Brokerage here in Albuquerque.
Grant Harvey, home loan expert. Look at this hat.
Look at this hat. You want one? Order one. We're joined in studio by Kyle Avery of Player One Productions. Local, born and raised, went to Sandia High School. Has an interesting backstory, but now he's a successful small business owner. So Kyle, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you for having me.
You know what I love about our show and also just social media in general is that's how you and I kind of connected, and we've been messaging back and forth, and you guys have a fantastic website. You offer a bunch of services, but talk a little bit more about just growing up in Albuquerque, because we see so many so many people on the show that grew up here.
I love Albuquerque. Albuquerque's been, the home. Yes, I've tried to go other places and then try to come back and say, oh, this is not home. We have the best weather. We have the best sunsets. I'm not going to go into that subject at the time, but I feel that New Mexico is just everything that you could ever ask for. So I've stayed here my whole life, born and raised. My parents have stayed here for over 50 years.
How did your family end up in New Mexico?
So my granddad flew airplanes in World War II. He was a B-52 pilot. He met my grandmother. They got married in Berlin, and then they came back. They were stationed in Kirtland Air Force Base. They stayed here.
I love those stories, right? There's not to say that like water down our generation, but it's always so rich when you ask about how'd you get here, and it's like, oh yeah, I was a B-52 pilot, and then it's a wonderful story.
Yeah, it's cool, and I think that there's a lot of families and a lot of people that are getting relocated here to work at Kirtland, and they end up staying here. And we've had people that have had spent some time at Kirtland, moved away, and then came back. So I think that's one of the driving factors for people discovering Albuquerque and New Mexico in general.
Shout out to Pete Domenici back in the day when we were younger. That's why
Senator?
Yeah, that's why. That's why this Air Force Base stayed here.
Is that right?
Yeah, they
Pete
tried to close
Domenici?
it. Yeah, and he defended it.
Respect Domenici.
Good to know.
Respect the D.
Elemento.
So you got a little bit of an interesting backstory. Football player, athlete, went to NIMI.
Yes, sir.
So talk a little bit about life at NIMI, because most people, watching the show have no idea what NIMI is.
So I didn't take a Spanish credit when I was in Sandia, so I couldn't go Division I. So
What is that?
what do you mean?
You were
Division I.
required to take a
Yeah, you have
language
to take a language credit.
to get
So
into a D1 school to play football.
Oh, okay.
I kind of was just like, no, I don't want to take it. I'm going to speak English. We're here in America. And then that backfired on me. So then I got...
That's a good sentiment here. Yeah.
I'm going to show everyone.
Yeah, go back to China.
I got recruited there. It was really cool. It was only a couple hours up in Roswell. So, to keep playing the sport that I loved and grew up playing. So it was nice.
Don't you find NIMI to be the perfect environment for you to really specialize and stay focused, right? I mean, a town that's what you're there for. I think it's conducive for you to focus on why you're there, right?
Going to school and being disciplined. I mean, there's a lot of things that go towards that military lifestyle that could really change a lot of people's mindset, their goals. My senior year, I didn't want to go to class. I was just like, oh, dude, we're done. Let's graduate and get out of here, But it kept me on that straight and narrow path where I was just like, okay, we got to do things different.
And then you had a little bit of an injury, a shoulder surgery that set you back and put you on a different path.
Yes, sir. So, growing up, playing sports, I never really had horrific injuries, but then my senior year, I had a real bad arm injury, and then I was given pain pills, to kind of, help with that, go to sleep, and then, it kind of, hard to say, brings up a lot of memories, but
But you can talk about that. Here's the deal. You and I talked about that before the show. I think you're brave for talking about it, and I can identify with that. But you're free to talk about it. I think it's important for people to have this triumph over something they identify was a problem and overcome addiction. So yeah, feel free to
So when it comes to addiction, it's a very hard subject for anyone to go through. But the one thing that I like to talk to people about is if you're having trouble, reach out to someone. And I'm always willing to hear people's phone calls of like, dude, I'm struggling, because I'll be honest, I'm not always doing the best at times, but I have a couple people I could reach out to, be like, hey man, I'm struggling. Like, I have these thoughts in my mind that I'm just like, want to do some, stuff that will just take me back to where I don't want to be anymore. And having that support system around you is the best way to like keep moving forward in sobriety.
Well, what better fellowship is there? And we get off subject a little bit, but I think it's important for people to identify and actually trust someone who goes, I get it, I've been there, I know what you're going through. Like, you're relatable, and I think people find trust in someone that goes, I'll volunteer this. I also was in your spot, and then it's more conducive for people to be able to find you cathartic and vent. And so, good on you. You don't want to get off track, but like, your path is wonderful, right? So,
well, the one thing I want to say to that is a lot of people will say, oh, I could never expect you to have gone down the path of addiction or been in a jail cell, which is true. Like, people are like, oh, you did that? And I was like,
you seem like such a good guy.
Exactly.
yeah, Skip got in trouble for punching people at McDonald's in Canada. So,
so at the end of the day, you can't judge a book by its cover. A lot of people can change and do better for themselves. And that's why we're here, and we spread the positive word about a recovery in, addiction.
I think it's great, especially here in New Mexico. I think that a lot of people struggle with it just because of, anywhere you look, fentanyl's available, and it has a propensity of sending you down that dark road. And I think that it's important to have the support staff. But are there any specific things that the state of New Mexico offers, like any hotlines or anything like?
Well, not that I know of, but I'm a big advocate for AA and NA meetings. The state also helped me grow my business to where I'm at. They paid for a camera. They helped me set up my website when I first started. There is avenues. You just have to go out and find them.
Let's talk a little bit more about that, because we always want to know what's it like starting a business in New Mexico. What's the business climate like for getting the proper licensing, getting up and running? But share your experience.
So my experience was having a mentor with this program with the state. They kind of laid out a bunch of things that you had to do, and running a business is not easy. And I've learned a lot of hard things trying to get where I am now, that having someone there to teach you and show you what you need to do for my sake was the only reason I'm here today.
The reason why I find that important, Skip's question important, is a lot of people go, oh my God, I don't want to pay for that and the social safety net. I think this is evidence of like some things are working right in place, but a lot of times people go, oh, I don't want to, it's a waste of money and the taxpayer, but taxpayer money actually some success for you, right? I mean, 100%. It gave you an avenue. And so there needs to be more examples of this going, hey, I was in a situation where I did need some state help, and here I am.
This is why we do it, right?
100%.
Let's talk about the fun stuff. Player One Productions. Now, you partnered with a buddy of yours.
Awesome, Harvey.
Talk a little bit about Player One Productions and what you guys specialize in.
So we're a one-stop shop for all media content. I specialize in real estate. We do photography, headshots, 3D tours, virtual tours, floor plans, also with drones. I mean, there's a huge list. So we want to be known as a one-stop shop for realtors to come to us and have everything done for them, so they don't have to go to 4 or 5 different people for everything that they need to sell their homes, headshots, the list goes on.
I think that's great.
A nice website.
Yeah, we're exploring your website right now. It looks pretty modern, and the colors definitely pop. So
and then kind of lending itself to all right, we know what you offer, right? I mean, the deal is, you're in a weird time where there's a lot of generations that need you, and you have to figure out the one website that is most conducive for people not going, I'm lost.
I don't have
he
a
actually
password.
made me press something. So the generations that are very familiar with technology, and then you have to pander to the older one, right? Like our dads. Yeah. I don't know how to turn my phone on. Okay, we already told you 8 times. But yeah, I mean, that's important, because this thing is clean.
Thank you.
So is this some footage you shot, or is this just stock footage?
Oh, that's over in Belen.
Yeah.
No, this is actually in Oregon.
I'm glad you corrected me. No, for anybody watching, I didn't think this was Belen. I thought it was the
That is Elephant Butte.
I have 2 yachts.
Well, we did land a contract out in Elephant Butte, so we do all their
funny you should
media out
ask.
there. Yeah.
Wait, so what goes on out at Elephant Butte?
So they built a resort, golf course. They have
What's it called? Turtle Mountain?
Turtleback Mountain
I'll get 2 times
in Sierra County. Yeah, in TRC. Small town. I'd never been there until last year, and
They have the best steakhouse, dude. Have you been there?
Yes.
What's it called?
I don't know. Just
Turtle
drive up.
Mountain Back
I don't know. I'm
Steakhouse?
not supposed to do much. Just order food. I point to the picture. I'm the guy that goes to the restaurant and goes, I want the
Sloppy steaks.
yeah, I put water all over it.
Okay, so another thing that you brought up, the service that you guys provide is podcast service, where you provide the microphones, the lighting, the video, and kind of show up and let knuckleheads like us talk.
Correct.
Yeah, you are a perfect demographic. We actually pander to people that don't know what they're saying, and we record them, just like you guys.
One thing I find is that in our industry, so many times you get caught up in the paperwork, and like you were saying, it's nice to have a company that's got a full menu of everything that real estate agents need. But video editing has always been the pain point for a lot of brokers, because we can like film a walkthrough, but how do you turn that into something I can repurpose and use? And I think that's something you guys do.
So the wonderful thing is we're all in-house, so luckily we have a studio that we do all our video editing in, and honestly, video editing is the hardest thing to learn, and it's taken me a couple of years of learning that just to be where I'm at now, where then realtors like, oh, this is actually great work, I want to hire you. But at the end of the day, I tell everyone it's a process. You have to start from the beginning. You have to keep that hard work to get where you're at now.
Well, let me tell you, like a pain Skip and I shared. So we try to farm out our video editing. And then these guys in Sweden.
But hold on. Shout out Miles. You're doing great right now, Miles.
Yeah, Miles, you're fine.
Thanks,
but
Miles.
but we got back like clips, and it was like, that's not a highlight, and there was such a language barrier, right? And then they're like what would you call it? Subtitles were so off, and I'm like, that's not what we said. And you pick the worst clips, be like, oh, Skip was talking about his kneecap.
Yeah, we outsource our video editing to a company in Sweden called Be Creatives, which is the big third-party editing company. Essentially, you upload an episode, and then they're supposed to cut it up into little clips, and they would come back, but it was like such a cultural difference that we would be on a rant telling jokes just on a hot streak, and they wouldn't use any of that, but it would just be like some random banter.
I like it when he goes, I couldn't find anything funny this episode. so maybe we're so far off and we find ourselves so funny, but the guy's like,
we kept second guessing our whole format.
There was never a time where I found you funny.
Your episode really sucks.
Well, then Sweden probably sucks. Not shout out to Sweden.
Talk a little bit more about, so where are you guys located? You guys have like a studio or like a...
we have a place out in Rio Rancho, so we don't have like a office building yet, but we work through Austin's home.
And then do you guys how do you market mostly to real estate brokers? You guys?
So I don't market at all. I'm all word of mouth. And the great thing that I tell people is like you under promise and over deliver.
Sure.
So I'm always the person that, hey, if you're going to hire me, I'm going to do the most for you. So then I want to get your referrals. I want to get you to come back to me. So we haven't done a lot of marketing, and this is why I reached out to you, because I saw your background and I was like, hey, if I'm featured any sort of way, then maybe it's going to bring in more business for the business.
He does have a giant following, and I think that you two are similar in the fact that you have started in an organic fashion. And Skip's videos are so different than anyone else that's doing that out there, and the fact that like he's creating content that's not repeatable. Like it's him. And when you sell yourself on the character and not this like mantra of like our business, when people go, I like that guy. Like that's how you grow yourself. So it's great that you recognize the similarities in
I want to say one thing. It's like you don't show flashy, and that's the one thing I don't like. And there's a lot of influencers that are like, hey, wearing expensive clothing.
Oh no, his clothes definitely.
These are $29.99.
Don't worry about that.
Like
that's my big problem with him. Don't worry. Anchor Blue shirts are still coming out in every episode.
Hey, times are tough, man. You got to get through. Get in
Shop
where
with
you
Ross, drip for less.
Yeah.
Or just steal 1,000 shirts and the cops don't care.
Yeah, right, get out of jail free.
Brought to you by Albuquerque.
Kyle, Avery. So we'll have links to your website and everything in your Instagram. Mark, do you have any Instagram locked in, pulled up? We can showcase some of the pictures and shit.
I bet he does. Mark's on it. Mark's on it.
Mark, you're having a day today. So
Yeah, come on.
I have
Don't
all
let
the
us
faith
down.
in the world that you're going to pull
Mark.
up. Just dead air.
All right.
Mark,
We're
don't
gonna
you...
let
Don't,
it-
oh, my fault. Okay, my bad.
Okay,
Sorry.
This is Skip's fault.
Hey, look, I'm
Mark lives
I'm wearing
for one more
multiple
day.
hats, so I apologize for
Yeah.
ruining
It's
that.
at Kyle Captured Homes.
Yeah, he definitely has it. He definitely has it.
We'll put it on there. What's one thing that you would want to put out there? Actually, I'm big on philanthropies. Do you get involved in anything community-wise, or what's your push, or what do you find important to be involved in your community?
Honestly, I'm a silent, stay-at-home kind of guy, but I do everything I can to help people when I can.
One thing I like about you, what you did do to help our community is you made sure that we both know that it's important to steer our kids away from Sandia High School. Which we appreciate that.
Oh no, don't clip. Do not put that on. I love Sandia, but like now the fact that my daughter's going to go to El Dorado, I kind of like switched up. You know, I have to give some kind of
Soar and score and Golden Eagles, dude. I totally get it. Man. No, I get it. I'm just
Later.
go to La Cueva.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Listen, Kyle, we appreciate you stopping by today, man. Thanks for bringing the energy.
guys.
I think it's cool what you do with the drones and your website and stuff. So we'll be happy to share some business with you and kind of do some networking down the road.
Yeah. The drone work is impressive. How many drones did you crash, though?
So I've had my license now since 2018. I've crashed one drone, and the reason why it crashed, it pretty much just died and fell out of the sky. It wasn't my fault, and I will stick to that. But
That's what I would say also.
I have like 8 drones, and
Can you
outside
shoot
of
down
breaking
other
a
drones?
prop. Honestly, when people say that, it's a no. There's no way someone's going to shoot down a drone because just yesterday, Sunday, I was out in Taos and there's this guy, he came out with a tractor. He's like, "What are you doing on my land?" He's like, "I'm going to shoot that down." I was like,
it's
"Good
on
luck,
his
bud."
land.
You know, and I was trying to be respectful and, you know, it's just like it happens. People feel like, you know, we're doing something bad, but then I'm telling them like, we're here for a reason. I'm trying to sell your neighbor's land plot.
There's got to be some people that go, that's it.
Well, it depends. If
Well-
you're not in the suburbs, probably not.
Yeah,
if
but
you're out in
no,
the mountains,
where people have
No one-
82 guns.
No one owns the air, meaning like anything
Oh,
above your
yeah, I
property.
get that, but no one
No one
tries
owns it.
to?
Never
I tried
had
to
it.
shoot down some drones in our neighborhood. We had somebody who was like flying a drone over our backyard.
I
for,
jumped
like,
up
5
and got
days.
one.
Oh, here we go.
I want to see this clip.
Yeah, don't get your hair stuck.
What do you want me to do? I crushed the drone. It had the footage.
Just sliced your fingertips off.
I like to slam dunk things and then I catch drones on my off days. What do you do on Tuesdays?
Kyle, Avery, thank you. Player1productions.com. Appreciate you stopping by, man. We'll have links to all your stuff in the section below. Coming up next, here's why you're going to want to stay tuned as we get wrapping up on this show. We're moving to channel 27. Just kidding. We're going to stay on the channel,
Just kidding.
channel
we're
96.
not, no.
But either way, stay tuned to the end of the show. It's time for Skip's Tips.
It's Tom Ford.
This is
Skip's
UAB
Tips. Hi, welcome back to segment 3. What a wonderful previous segment. And now, we haven't seen you guys in a while, but I'm sure you're feeding for a Skip's Tip, segment 3.
Welcome back. It's time for Skip's Tips. Anything that saves us time, makes us more money, or allows us to have more fun in real estate or in real life. Shopping for homes is fun, but here's a handful of things as a buyer you need to be looking for when looking at properties. Number 1, you're not just looking at the home, take a look at the neighborhood. What does your neighbor's yard look like? Are there barking dogs, airplanes flying overhead? These are a couple of things that you want to be aware of. Is this neighborhood on an upward trajectory in terms of value, or does it look like it's a real hunk of shit? The second thing you always want to look at when you're walking through the house is the ceilings. Take note if there's any evidence of water intrusions or any inconsistency in the texture on the ceiling. That will indicate that there's an issue with the roof, past roof leaks, possibly even active roof leaks. And that's a big ticket item you're going to want to have addressed. So always be sure to take that into account when you're walking through home. The third thing you should always do is as you go from room to room, open and shut the doors. If you find that the doors are catching or slamming automatically, that can mean there's an issue with either the structure or the foundation being a little bit off cue. So if those doors are not opening and shutting properly, it could be something bigger that you need to take a look at. And lastly, when looking at homes, be sure to follow your nose. Here's what I mean. We always travel with a black light so we can scope the carpet and see if there's any real dog puddles or pet messes, anything that you can't see with the naked eye, but you can definitely smell. Because if you can smell mold or something musty, that's an issue, and probably means that there's an issue with water or something behind the walls. So keep that in mind. What's been your experience when you walk through properties? Share this with a friend and tell them Skip said so.
Doesn't look. Hi. Welcome.
I want to be a real boy.
Yeah. Oh boy. Good segment. The thing that I think is most important that a lot of people realize when they move into neighborhoods, really do scout out who are going to be your next door neighbors. That's a long commitment. Is there barking dogs? Like, is there screaming kids, or is there domestic violence and they're just fighting each other? You need to scout out, because that's there forever. So my neighbors, I have a great neighbor on one side of me, and I love him to death, and he looks after my property. And so, it's important, because that's what's going to happen forever.
Don't ever be scared, too. Walk up and have a conversation with
Walk
them.
up and fight them.
Yeah, that's how you find out what kind of a man you
want
are.
to move in? Yeah. Fight them.
Fight them for an interest rate.
But the subdivision, too, is kind of important. I think that newer subdivisions, and now I'll get a little bit, I guess, stereotypical. You get further into like the 98th Street in Unser, they have these two subdivisions, but you have no idea what the culture will be. Right? I mean, you don't know what this neighborhood is going to be like in 10 years. So it always looks spruced up and nice and dignified, but like, what is the culture? So sometimes I think that older parts of Taylor Ranch has been established, so you kind of see what you're getting. So subdivisions can kind of give you this, get smoke and mirrors, and then you really not get a clear depiction on about what it's going to be like later.
Why are you looking down at me? Like I live in a shitty neighborhood with no HOA?
Listen, you used to live on 98th Street and went to West Mesa.
This was me.
Clearly, you know spray paint.
Worldwide on YouTube, Sunday mornings,
Oh yeah,
Wednesday
we did go worldwide yesterday.
Channel 96, the education channel, and obviously Channel 27. And follow us along at UABQ.
Oh, we have no more interns, so let's
give us a spin, dude. Spin us out of here.
Let's just get into
spin us out of here.
Woodworking.
This
episode.
is all about you, ABQ.